Today's video is, could Sony remaster the 3 Little Big Planet games and put them into one ultimate collection? And in turn, how would they go about doing such a task? Well, there are many ways they could go about this. Today I'm going to talk about one of the ways that I sincerely hope, if they do this, that they do it this way. Now, I think this game would contain the best level creation elements of all 3 games, and maybe added some new mechanics, and hopefully it could be a spiritual successor to Little Big Planet 3 and be in its own way a Little Big Planet 4, but without calling itself such a game. It would act more like Smash Ultimate did and be the ultimate version of Little Big Planet. Now, of course, it would have updated visuals using the new engine they recently created for Sackboy Big Adventure. Now, also, I think very importantly, they need to contain the story mode of all 3 games with the updated visuals. Now, during story mode, you could switch back and forth between the updated graphics and, of course, the original graphics. This is similar to how Master Chief Collection did it with their Halo campaigns. One thing that's very interesting about if Sony released a title like this is it would span the entire console generation of the Sony's PlayStation 5, and I think what's important about that is it wouldn't be, let's say, a live service game, but it would have some of the elements that a live service game has, being almost like a Minecraft of a sort without really getting a new sequel during that console generation. Now, the best way to look at Little Big Planet, I think at least, is that the game could just be expanded upon with new updates, and you could have major updates, DLC, expansions, all this stuff. But I do not think it should be free to play, because that implies the wrong thing. And I think for Little Big Planet, they need a full-fledged new game, but if they had the elements of the previous games, because keep in mind here, even Little Big Planet 3 had its own merits. Every single title in the series did. So having all those contained in one ultimate package could lead to a rebirthing for the series. So you may be asking, what about Sackboy Big Adventure? Isn't that the new Sackboy game that everyone's supposed to be super excited about? And granted, I am super excited and hyped for this game, and I know it'll be a great game because Human Digital is a talented studio, and Sony and both of them have learned their lesson with Little Big Planet 3 not to rush a game. And just look at the development time for this game. They even made their own engine. How would this correlate to the Little Big Planet collection? Simple. You would get the best of both worlds with a new 3D platformer and the level creation tools, of course, and the 2D platformer style of Little Big Planets with new visuals, of course. So I think what they could do here is have the new Little Big Planet game positioned more as a collection, a trilogy as you would, with new mechanics and gameplay features. Perhaps it could even have a tie-in to Sackboy Big Adventure, or maybe Sackboy Big Adventure is like what I have mentioned, but it's just excluding the story mode features, but it has the level creation tools. Though I do think story mode is a lot more important than people think, because you're automatically, if you include those 3 story modes, despite how bad the level creation tool is, you are containing 3 amazing, or at least great, campaigns for 2D and 2.5D games. So it's a really big content boost if you have those 3 with updated visuals. So again, it's very important if they have those 3 games, but even if they don't in Sackboy Big Adventure, and it could actually be the title I'm talking about in terms of location, but if there are 2 separate titles, then they could go hand in hand in terms of having this awesome 3D platformer, and then of course on the side you have this 2D game. So that's how I think they could kind of go hand in hand, and you can market each other and bounce it off. Somebody likes a Little Big Planet, they can say, okay, I just got this new game. What's about this new game that just came out called Sackboy Big Adventure? Now, in terms of titles, I don't think they'll call it Little Big Planet 4 because it wouldn't be Little Big Planet 4, it would be Little Big Planet Ultimate. I don't think they'll call it Little Big Planet Ultimate. They could call it Little Big Planet The Collection, Little Big Collection, a Little Big Collection. I actually like that a bit. The last topic I would like to touch on briefly is campaign making. So we saw the world update for Super Mario Maker 2. Now, I don't think Little Big Planet needs to compete with Dreams or Super Mario Maker. I think that's an absurd observation, and I talk about this more in my Sackboy, A Big Adventure Needs a Level Creation video. So check that out, definitely. I think that I have some good topics that I talk about correlated to this video. But in terms of campaign making, Super Mario Maker already did that. But Little Big Planet could do more than that. if they add in the option to create your own cutscenes, and I think they could do this with very rudimentary animation tools available, and that would allow for some ingenious campaigns with multiple levels, and you could have a full world maker and like a My Moon. It could be like a separate option in the area for the game, just like Mario Maker did it, but I don't think they need to compete with them again. I just think that Mario Maker has some things right that Sackboy needs to do as well, and that is a huge one. But they're lacking on cutscenes. If you could make your own animations, it would be amazing. Full campaigns, I just can imagine that. Then you almost don't need the 3 story modes created and brought over to this new game. Fantasy, of course. Though it would be nice to have such structured, well, they're not very structured, but such well-crafted levels. Though the community of Sackboy and LittleBigPlanet is so massive and so great and so creative and imaginative, I doubt that they wouldn't be ingenious with their level creation. Alright, that's going to do it for today's video. If you liked this, then please let me know in the comments. I love constructive criticism, so if you have any tips for today's video in terms of editing, visuals, audio, topics I touched on, anything at all, just please let me know. I appreciate all the feedback I can get. Alright, also go check out my Instagram at Kelster101. Ciao!